Hey Use World, I am back with another video. Today, let's talk about our handbag addiction. Yes, you heard that right, our, because it's not just my addiction, it's also your addiction. That's why you're on my channel and we talk about handbags and I love our community for that. So this video idea sparked recently because my boyfriend and I were up in the attic and we're just cleaning a bunch of random crap up there out, including a lot of empty purse boxes that I had up there. And I found this banker's box and it was like, you know, this big, right? It was filled with ex-boyfriend's letters and gifts that I've gotten way back when. And yeah, it was, you know, from all of the ex-boyfriends that I've dumped over the years. And he was like, oh, what's in that box? Should we throw it away? What's in there? Nothing. Don't worry about it. We'll just leave that there for now. So that night, for whatever reason, I decided to go down another memory lane by scrolling through Poshmark and other various, you know, selling platforms that I've used over the years. And I was looking at the purses that I have sold, right? And I was scrolling and then I was scrolling. And I kept scrolling. I'm like, holy shit, women, how many bags did you go through over the past however many years? So I started, you know, laughing to myself and I was like, yeah, I go through bags and dump these bags like ex-boyfriends. So I thought that was kind of funny. So I figured it would be a good idea to go over 100 bags here. There are over 100 bags and I'm probably missing a couple here and there, maybe 10 or 15 here and there that I just lost track of. Don't even remember that I had at one point, and you probably can relate to that. Do you see the correlation here? So let's just get right into it. Remember, all of these bags came and went over the past 10 to 15 years. I kind of broke it down sort of chronologically and by brand. This way I can show you how I've progressed over the years in terms of the brands that I started with, the colors. Man, I had a lot of colors. You can see the different styles and whatnot. It's pretty interesting. I was just like, why would I ever purchase that bag? The first one is going to be the Rebecca Minkoff crossbody bag. I don't even know a lot of these names, but I think only one Rebecca Minkoff bag in my collection ever. And that was back in the day when it was quite popular. I don't know if they still are. I do see them from time to time on like Nordstrom's or maybe Macy's. Are they still a thing? Have you heard of Rebecca Minkoff, or do you carry a Rebecca Minkoff? Let me know. The reason why I let go of this bag is because it had color transfer. The style was fine. It was a little bit flimsy and floppy. It was a leather bag, but it had the chain very similar to like a Chanel where you can crossbody it or turn it into a shoulder bag. And then also it had a back pocket. So it really did check all the boxes for a very functional bag, but it was just unfortunate that it had color transfer in the back. The next category is going to be Kate Spade. I got into Kate Spade because the outlets were, you know, pretty accessible here in Chicago. And I went through a slew of them, right? I had the Kate Spade Walk. There was the Loden. There was also the Crossbody. Again, I don't know all of these names. Some of these I think I still have a record of. And the Charles Street Mini Satchel. Then you've got the Dominic Harbor Blue one. I think that was completely brand new. I purchased it and I never used it. The next one, the Cobble Hill, I bought two of these. One of them was beige and I gave it to my mom. She used that thing for quite a while and I think it fell apart pretty quickly. Like it started cracking on the handle, the sides, corner wear. The leather it felt nice, but also from what I remember, felt very waxy. And then it was very, just like it started cracking everywhere. So I kept the black one, and the black one held up relatively well. I used it quite a bit. I think I was still in school back in the day, and it didn't really fit a laptop or anything. Well, actually it did, because I had a tiny little Acer laptop that the battery lasted like, what, 30 minutes? So I don't even know why I carried that thing around. But yeah, so I did use that and then I decided to let it go. I also had a really cute turtle passport. Again, Kate Spade really does a good job when it comes to novelty items with the cute characters, and they still continue to do that today. I can appreciate that. Would I ever buy a Kate Spade bag? Probably not. But if I see something in terms of the SLG that is super cute, I would definitely, yeah, probably purchase it. But nothing has caught my eye recently at Kate Spade, which I do take a tour of it if I'm at the outlets just to see what they have. The next category, remember, if you've been on my channel for a while, you know I have said this before, I loved Tory Burch. Like, I was obsessed. And a lot of these I did purchase from the boutique. I had like 13 of them. Again, these are just what I can remember. And these are, like I said, bought from the boutique. And then once the outlet came out, the quality had dropped significantly that I was over you. I dumped all of my Tory Burch bags and was just like, bye. So I had the satchel, the red one. That was one of my first Tory Burch bags, and I love that thing. And if you notice, I really liked my red bags. And the quality was excellent. There was no corner wear. I threw that thing around. I took that overseas. I wore it to school. I went to hang out with friends with it. It was an everyday bag for me. Then I proceeded to purchase the Amanda wallet. I also had the Amanda top handle. Then I also purchased like the little yellow SLG or like a compact wallet. I love the Amanda line, and I had pretty much all of them. Then I started, I think, working, and I had to bring my laptop back and forth. So I did purchase the York tote. That was kind of like the alternative to the Louis Vuitton Neverfull, right? Except much at a fraction of the cost. So I had the large one, then I proceeded to buy the small one. I also really liked the Robinson collection as well. My first Robinson was this massive, again, screenshots are gonna be flying everywhere, but the orange, did I really like orange? I don't know. I purchased it in an orange and I wore that bag once. It was to work, and the story was that I take the train to work, and on my way home, anytime I'm in the car or on the train, I get rocked like a little baby and I instantly fall asleep. So I was in the corner of the train about to fall asleep, or I did fall asleep, and thank goodness that had a crossbody. So I had a crossbody while I was sitting. This guy decided to, quote unquote, well, he didn't rob me. He tried to rob me. But by the time he was standing in front of me, my eyes peeled open. I saw the guy standing in front of me, and he got pissed off, slammed the wall behind me, or I guess the window behind me, and walked away. So after that, I was like, okay, I can't be wearing such a flashy color, flashy bag on the train if I can't seem to keep myself awake. But I don't know, with nowadays, it doesn't matter if you're awake and alert, who knows? So I sold that bag pretty quickly. I also had the Ella totes when they first came out. I got the small one, I got the big one. The small one, I ended up giving it to my mom, and then she used it and gave it back to me. I'm like, thanks, Mom. For using it for like a year and then giving it back to me. Like, why? I had the small zip tote. This one I did really like because it's a mossy little green one, and it was quite useful. I took that, I think, to Spain with me, but then, and the quality was fantastic because I did purchase that from Nordstrom, so it wasn't an outlet item. And I sold that eventually after I got, used it. It was still like a new condition, so. And of course I had the zip wallets. Again, every single collection that they released, I had Tory Burch everything. I had the shoes, I had some clothes, and the bracelets. I was obsessed. I also had Marc Jacobs. Believe it or not, as much as I poo-poo it today, I had Marc Jacobs and I loved it. I only had 3 things, right? The first one is going to be the purple tote or satchel. Again, I really liked my colors back in the day, and I also didn't really wear a whole lot of neutrals. I wore floral, so I was a walking clashing person with what my fashion sense. So yeah, let's just leave it at that. This also was back in the day where it was the Marc by Marc Jacobs the collection, whereas the little gold or brass plaque with the little Marc Jacobs, very subtle. I did love that. It was purple, used it a couple times. I let that one go, dumped it, bye. And then I also had the classic Charlie, the little pouch, the mini bag. That was a mini bag, and that was not popular back in the day. Of course, it was in turquoise. I don't think I wore that. I had a couple of friends that had that same bag in like more neutral colors, and they loved it and wore it for a number of years. But for this one, I guess, again, mini bags. I was like, it's too little. I can't fit anything in there. I don't even know what I was carrying. But the Marc Jacobs top handle that I purchased, this one was something I wish I still have because I think it's a really pretty bag. There were no logos on there, and it had a top handle, had a crossbody. It's a very structured bag as opposed to a very like slouchy one, you know, before Marc Jacobs rebranded. It was Marc by Marc Jacobs. They were much more slouchy and mushy in general. So yeah, that was my quick hit when it comes to Marc Jacobs. So I think looking back, again, scrolling through memory lane, I think I decided that I was going to be a professional girly because I had my professional job. I decided to go to Tumi because I started traveling for work quite a bit, and I'm just like, I'm at the airport and I see all of these, you know, business traveling women or men, they all had Tumi. So I was like, oh, I need Tumis. I decided to purchase a bunch of luggages so, you know, I can fit in with the professional, you know, people. I still have my Tumi. I have like 1 or 2 left, but I sold a lot of these since then because I was just like, this is not functional. And I also proceeded to purchase a bunch of Tumi bags, including this satchel right here. I think it's called a Georgia satchel. I used that thing once. It was like the heaviest thing ever. Of course, if you put your laptop in there, it was like dead weight on my body. So I dumped that one pretty quickly. I also had the leather crossbody so that, again, you know how I like to have the work tote and then also have a small crossbody. So if I take to dinner, clients out to dinner, or if I'm going out to dinner, I'm not lugging around a massive tote. So this was my idea of a small crossbody to fit inside my large tote. And I also had the nylon one from Tumi, which is the Marine bag, I think. And that one got stained so fast. I was kind of annoyed because you would think that Tumi, they make a lot of nylon bags that it would not get stained that quickly. So I sold that one off as well. So I had a little stint with the boyfriends with Burberry. I know, just the side note here, I know everybody talks about their bags, and men do this with cars. They do this with boats. Oh, she's a beauty. Okay, why do we categorize all of these things as female? Just honestly, it's a question. For me, it's just like, I think bags should be quote unquote male because they're attached to us. They're an accessory. They go with us with everywhere. I don't know. I think they should be male. This bag, he is gorgeous. I don't know, I'm just bullshitting here. Anyway, so I had a quick stint with Burberry. And I think with Burberry, it definitely feels a little bit more male dominant. That's just my opinion. Like if you talk about Louis Vuitton, that could be female. So anyways, Burberry, I had the Nikki tote and then also the Canterbury in a small. So the Canterbury, I actually purchased this from Gilt back in the day. Oh, I miss those warehouse sales from Gilt, where you would buy a ticket, you line up, and you bum rush into a massive warehouse where they have clothes, shoes. Let me know if you've been to a Gilt warehouse sale. But they had bags, of course. I beeline to the bags, and I'll tell you a couple other Bottega bags that I'll cover in a moment that I was able to snatch up. And this Burberry one was actually one of them. I used that quite a bit as a tote bag. It was a casual tote bag that, you know, it's not like for work or anything. My favorite one is the Nikki tote. I purchased this one, I remember, at Nordstrom for like, I don't know, $200 or $300. Oh, the prices back then were just so good. And it was yellow, right? I got the most stares from women, which I kind of didn't notice, but my boyfriend, every time we walked down the street, and then he's like, holy smoke, that girl literally snapped her neck to turn around to look at your, you know, Burberry tote. She was about to claw that bag out of your hands. So I thought that was kind of funny because he had told that multiple times to me. I was like, so are you looking at that chick? He's like, no, I'm just looking because she like whipped her head around. I'm like, sure. It's okay. I also was really into Balenciaga. Balenciaga back in the day, the city bag, I had the green one. I love that thing. It was such a beautiful bag. Actually, I have 3 Balenciaga bags. The 2 of them I let go. The other one I still have. It's this little tiny one, and I don't know what to do with it. I'm so mad at Balenciaga because I love my little mini city tote or city crossbody. Wish I could use it. Anyways, I also had the Balenciaga. I don't even know what this bag was called, but this bag, it looked like a bowler bag. I call it the Batman bag because my coworker said it looked like Batman from the side. I let go of that bag, and it also had very small print in the front, which is not very like Balenciaga, especially modern day Balenciaga, for it to have, you know, very inconspicuous kind of logo on there. I let go of that bag because it was just so hard to use. And I think I might have used it once, maybe twice. And it's hard to stick your hand in there. It's a black hole. You can't see anything. And of course, the zipper scratched and clawed my hands every time I reached in there. So that got dumped pretty quickly. The next slew of bags that I'm going to talk about are going to be indie brands. And this is basically Nikki with version 1.0 when it comes to indie brands. And it's pretty interesting because they're kind of household names by now, but back in the day, they were considered no-name brands and nobody really knew much about it. The first one is going to be Low & Sons. I think they're still up and coming. They don't get talked about too much, but you were seeing them pop up back in the day in social media. I had the Pearl Saffiano crossbody. I actually really like this bag. I used it, I want to say, every single day for 6 to 8 months. Then I got bored of it. I was like, see ya, I'm bored of you, bye. I took that thing everywhere. I went hiking. I even went hiking with it. I don't know what I was thinking, but I even went hiking with it. I went to dinner with it. I used that bag every single day. So when you use a bag every single day, again, in my opinion, whether it's professional, whether it's to go hiking, I got bored of it like after using it every day. So I need variety. I need to switch out the bags. I need to change it up with different outfits. For me, that particular bag, I wore it with everything, whether it's sneakers, gym shoes, bum clothes, fancy clothes. That's why I got bored of that bag pretty quickly and decided to let that go. Cuyana, I purchased a couple of bags from them when they first started, you know, getting a little bit popular, or at least starting to make more marketing exposures to themselves. I did purchase the semicircle bag, and then I also got the work clutch because I'm like, this is also a time, sorry, I'm going like kind of jumping, like I said, down memory lane, and different things are popping up in my head here. I think I went towards the indie brands just because I did purchase this house then. Money was a little tight, needed to furnish the house. And of course, putting down my, down payment for this house, it was a lot of money. So I had to cut back on purchasing, all of these handbags. So I did go for the cheaper route, and I did purchase the Cuyana work clutch, which I thought was super cute. And of course, like business professional Nikki, I need to look professional, right? I can't be wearing purple bags and red bags and orange bags. So that's why I purchased it. And guess what? Yeah, totally didn't use it. So I sold that one as well. I also did sell the System work tote, which is a more recent addition to my collection. It was just too heavy, and it was much bigger than I needed. So I did sell that one. So this was not back in the day. This was actually much more recent. Moving on with the indie brands from back in the day was Dagny Dover. I purchased a number of bags from them. Again, professional Nikki. I purchased the Legend bag because I thought it would be a great addition for me to put the laptop in there. It was not a functional bag. There was also another one. I think it was called the Legend. And then there's the Sienna. And then there was another one. I'll pop pictures on here. All of them, well, at least the Legend was just so incredibly heavy. And the leather was incredibly stiff. It was so uncomfortable on my shoulder. So I decided to let that go. Bought the Sienna one, let that one go. Apparently I didn't learn my lesson the first time and bought the small one, the Legend. Then it went to Everlane because, again, I was on my indie brand kick. Everlane, I did purchase maybe 1 or 2 bags, but from my records I can only find was the Form bag. The Form bag, it was brand new. It was very lightweight. There's nothing wrong with it. I think it was just too big. Bought it, never used it, sold it. It was a pretty quick dump there. All right, so I think now we're moving back to like the big luxury brands that I was like, okay, cool. House is bought, furniture's furnished. I'm feeling financially much better now. Let's go back on a tear in purchasing bags. Before I go through the next couple categories here, if you are new here, I hope you are enjoying this rambly video with some memory lane. I'm sure a lot of these totes or bags that you've seen back in the day, you're like, oh, that's so 2010. I hope you're enjoying it. Do hit that like and subscribe button for me if you haven't done so. Drop a comment down. Which bag did you own? back in the day, if you still have it, or did you let go of it? And of course, if you're new here, drop me a comment. Let me know you're new. Want to welcome you to the channel. And of course, my returning viewers, always love to have you here. Always love communicating with you. So definitely drop a comment down below like you usually do. You know what to do. All right, so anyways, going to the next category here is Gucci. I went ham with Gucci. Of course, when the Gucci outlet first opened up here in Chicago, I was the first in line. Okay, maybe not the first in line, but I was there quite often. But I will tell you, the first Gucci bag was actually not purchased by me. It was the Suki, I think it's called the Suki, right? Red tote or hobo, is it the tote? I can't remember, but it was the Suki one. And I didn't purchase it. My sister-in-law purchased that bag for me when she first started dating my brother. And of course, she was trying to bribe me and it 100% worked. I was like, oh, I like you. You purchased me a Gucci bag? I like you a lot. Then I went on tear. I bought, apparently I never used most of these. I bought the Boston bag in navy and gray. They were massive, brand new, never wore it, sat on my shelf, looked really pretty, got rid of it. And just to rattle off, the micro Gucci prints, same thing as the Boston bags, the pink wallet. I also had a zip up wallet. I had the quilted card holder. I had the vintage canvas hobo. I think that was from the men's collection. It was massive. I had the Ophidia floor card holder, never used it, bought it, never used it. The last two Gucci, after naming off a bunch of SLGs, I did purchase the Soho crossbody bag. I really liked it because, you know, the Soho Disco was incredibly popular and this one was really nice. I did let go of this because after using it once was because of the chain. It was so incredibly heavy and it's not like the Chanel one. It has a leather strap where it kind of just helps it stay on your shoulder. This one was purely all metal and one was heavy and two, it kept slipping off and it was very uncomfortable. So I sold that bag, dumped it. I dumped that so fast. The Gucci Marmont camera bag in red, I did wear this one quite a bit. And after a while, I think I did let go of it because I was like, I'm over Gucci. I'm over the Marmont logo. The next brand is going to be Mulberry. I told you this, and if you've been with me for a while, I used to love Mulberry. Of course, I went to New York quite often, so I hit up the New York Woodbury outlets with Mulberry quite often, so it was very easy for me to purchase from Mulberry. But I will tell you, the first Mulberry that I purchased was the Alexa in the medium. This one was when I was like doing training for my first job, so going back a little bit in terms of timeline. I purchased this one from Rue La La. I was in training and then all of a sudden I got up because you know how Rue La La do, at least back in the day, I don't know how they do it now, but they did a drop at 10 in the morning, right? And I'm just like, I need to go to the bathroom. And I went outside, hurry up to go purchase this one because of course I didn't want to pay retail. I purchased the Alexa medium in the brown, dark brown color. I've been wanting that Alexa. This was back in the day when it was super popular, right? Like all the celebrities had the Mulberry in the big size and they were carrying it on planes. I love that thing so much, but I did not get to wear this bag very often. I think the first handful of times I wore it, the little twist lock broke off. And it's not like I rammed it into anything. It just all of a sudden I was opening the bag and it's just like, came right off. I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? So luckily for me, my friend was working for Louis Vuitton at the time and she was being sent to New York City, which is the only store, I guess, boutique store, not the outlet, but in downtown, I guess, Manhattan, New York, they had a boutique. So I was like, please help me. Cause I did call them, it's like, hey, if I brought the bag in, can you guys help me fix it? They're like, yeah, just go ahead and bring it in. So she was kind enough to take the bag with me, brought it to the Mulberry store. They fixed it. It took about a couple weeks and then they sent it back to me here in Chicago for free. So that was a very nice customer service. But after that, I was like terrified of using that. And I just kind of like left it on my shelf for years before I decided to quote unquote dump it. Just to name the slew of bags I had purchased over the years and let go of. I had the Bayswater in the small. I had the Amberley satchel. That thing was so heavy and made no sense. The leather quality was great. I wore that and my shoulder was just in a tremendous amount of pain. I don't know why. So purchased the Winsley which is kind of I think might have worn that once. And I purchased that one in Ireland. They had an outlet there, so I got a pretty good deal on it, but I'm pretty sure I lost money selling that bag. But it was cool to have purchased something in Ireland when I was there. I only had a couple Bottega bags. I bought 4 altogether, and this was at the Gilt Warehouse sale. So I went in and snatched a bunch of like their traditional styles, which is like the hobo style. I got it in a large, I got 2 in the medium, I got 2 in the pink, sold one of them to my coworker, and then decided to keep the 2, medium and large, and realized I hated it. I hated how it was so unfunctional because the zipper, if you know, I think they still do this, right? The zipper is like was like this tiny, and you had to make sure you aim and 2 hand to open the hobo bag. I just found that to be super inconvenient, so I decided to sell both of them. The last one I purchased, I don't know if I have a picture of this, but it was basically at least I'll put a stock photo. It's the crossbody. I quote unquote dumped it, really. I gave it to my mom, and she loves Bottega, so I gave that crossbody in this mossy green color to my mom, and she uses it every day. I'm like, yes, woman, get that cost per wear down. All right, I think we're at home stretch here. Just bear with me. I got a couple more. I'll talk faster. The next slew, I love Chloe. I love the Marcy bag so much. You know, I talked about this before. I had the medium. I currently still have the small. I also purchased it in the baby. I didn't know they released it in the baby. I was trying to get a different color in the small, and when it showed up, it was like this small. I was like, I can't fit anything in here. So I turned that around pretty quickly. And then I also purchased the small Daria bag. Do you guys remember this one? I don't know if it was a popular one, but that thing was a loaf. It was this big, and it was so chunky. When I wore it crossbody, I felt like I had a loaf of bread on the side of my body. So I let that go pretty quickly as well. Moving on to Givenchy. Givenchy was a quick whirlwind in, whirlwind out, because I purchased the Antigona in the small turquoise, bluish, cobalt blue, whatever you want to call it. And my biggest pet peeve with that bag, as many of you probably know, are the crossbody straps. Yes, I could have kept the bag and used it as a top handle because it is a gorgeous bag. The chunky zipper was gorgeous, but I like to wear my bags crossbody, and it was designed to be crossbody. I want that functionality to work, but of course, the hook is not a completely tight D-ring, so it often like undid itself, and then all of a sudden your bag's on the floor, the strap is flying over your shoulder. I was just like, nope, can't handle it, sold it very quickly. Then I proceeded to purchase the Antigona in soft, thinking that if it's a less structured bag, it's more slouchy, it has more gravity, it won't do the same thing. It did the same thing. So the wear was terrible. I wore that bag to Paris and London, and it had corner wear. So I was pretty disappointed with the quality. Let's talk about Celine. Celine is a true love of mine, especially the Phoebe Philo days. I went through a number of these just because not every style worked out. I had the Trio Cabas, I think that's what it's called. Basically, it's a popular one. I didn't like that. My friend got that for me while she was still working at Barney's, and I paid, I don't know, $300 or $400, which was a fantastic price. But I didn't like how soft the leather was. So anything you put in the front, whatever your item's shape, is going to protrude in the leather. And I didn't want to ruin the leather. I also don't like that look, so I let go of that. It sat my shelf for a number of years before I let go of it. I also had the Cabas Phantom Tote in green. My monkey arms didn't work out for this bag. I know this is a very popular bag. It would have worked out great for work, but if I had any sort of bulk on my shoulder or my arm, it was just a pain in the ass to put it through my shoulder here. I also had the Phantom, the regular luggage Phantom in the mock croc, and it was such an incredibly heavy bag that I don't know what to do with it. I purchased it, never wore it, sold it off with I think like a consignment shop, so I'm very happy it went to a new home. I also purchased multiple trotteurs, and I love this bag. I purchased it in the small first. It was so tiny, the strap was so short, the back pocket didn't do anything, so I sold that one and got the medium. I do love the medium. I had it in a beige and silver hardware. I found a gorgeous blue one with gold hardware and decided to let the beige one go. So if you ever come across a Phoebe Philo and you like the flap style, I highly encourage you to take a look at that. Pricing is fantastic. You should take a look at the medium size because the back pocket does have a zipper and it's such a luxurious bag. So underrated. Let's talk about YSL. Another one of my favorites. I feel like Celine and YSL are like my favorites back in the day, and then also I love it today. A lot of these are just like used, abused, and then dump. The YSL College medium bag. Did not like the chain. Never, I don't think I used it. I wore it around the house, hated it, sold it. The medium Tribeca tote. This was a foolish purchase. It just didn't work for my lifestyle, and also it was black. I don't know why I purchased black bag, because I was starting to move away from black bags. I also had the mini Lou in the red. Never wore it. Bought it, sold it. I don't know why. I think that was my beginning hatred. Not hatred, but I really don't like camera bags because I always bend over, flip it around, everything scatters everywhere. So I was kind of like, I lost my wallet a couple times doing that. So I was kind of scared of using camera bags. I also had the walk in red. Didn't fit anything. I actually liked the wristlet better. It fit a little bit more stuff. And so I let the actual walk go because it just didn't fit my lifestyle. The compartments are weird. I also had the medium Lou, which I found at Last Chance. That thing was massive. Did not fit my lifestyle. Don't know why I bought it. Talking about Fendi, I bought the Zuka bag in brown. Didn't fit my lifestyle. It was just too short, and it was an armpit bag, and it was kind of boring to me. Apparently, I didn't learn my lesson. I bought it in pink. Thought I would like it better. Nope, didn't like it either. All right, I think we're at home stretch here, all right? I also talked about the Louis Vuitton Empreinte and the Mazarine medium. Used that for a quick summer. It was a hot girl summer, a summer fling with that bag, dumped that bag. I think I sold it to Fashion File. Talking about Loro Piana, I purchased the Loro Piana. Thought it was like the greatest alternative to the Kelly, and that's what they hyped it up to be. I'm like, yes, scored. I purchased this one for a great deal. Oh, stupid. If you haven't seen that video, I'll make sure to link that below for you or up above. It's too overhyped. Don't get the Loro Piana one. If you like it, great. If you have it, awesome. I'm happy for you. But personally, I think it's an overrated bag. So there are also 3 Chanel bags that, of course, that I can recall that I purchased and sold. The first one is going to be the Chanel single flat bag that had gunmetal hardware, and I was just not my vibe. I don't know why I purchased it. I never used it, sold it, probably lost money on it. The next one is the Chanel Surf Tote. I had an obsession with that bag for whatever reason. I think I saw it on, other influencers, website or channels, and I was like, I need to have that. It was okay. It was a nice bag. Used it once, maybe twice, and then I just let it go. God, I have an issue. The last one is going to be the Chanel Pink Diana bag. And that one, I had every intention to keep it. However, I purchased this from the Japanese retail market or vintage market. You never saw me unbox this on my channel because I was just too pissed off about this bag. When I received it, it was painted. It was not just repainted nicely. I wouldn't be as mad about that. They didn't disclose that it was repainted. It was painted horribly. They painted right over each thread of the stitching of the bag, and it was just like crusty. So I sold that bag. I fully disclosed that it was painted. The buyer was completely okay with it. I was like, okay, all right. I lost I want to say I lost $1,000. So the girl who bought it from me got a pretty decent deal, and some people just don't really care about that. And I wasn't about to put up with that kind of, alteration, so to speak. So those were the 3 Chanel bags that I also let go very, very quickly. All right, next we've got a slew of Hermes. The first one I ever bought was the Cabag in Canvas 32. It was my first Hermes bag. I was like, oh my God, I'm so fancy, I have an Hermes bag. And then I was like, this is so not functional. It is canvas, and it was faded because I did purchase it pre-love and just looks kind of ratty. So I decided to let that one go. Don't know what I was thinking. I also purchased the Garden Party. I think it was in the 36 size. I don't like the Garden Party that I've noticed so far, where the handles are just too short for me. I like to be able to at least have it come up to the crook of my arm. So I know in the future I'll probably never buy a Garden Party. I also purchased the Hermes trim bag influenced by Jessie Style. realized that hers is much bigger than mine, and she's also probably a lot smaller than me. So I don't know what I was thinking. It was a very inconvenient bag. It was very lightweight, which also did not help because I just felt like it was just very flimsy for some reason. That bag was older than me, so I can't call it flimsy. Maybe it's lost a little bit of its leather content over the decades. I don't know, but I did let that one go. You're gonna be surprised. I also did let go of an Hermes Birkin 35 gold on gold that I got a fantastic deal on. It was a very beat up Birkin, but someone offered me a price I couldn't refuse. I was like, all right, buy beat up Birkin. I will find another beat up Birkin to abuse before I dump them. And I knew I was forgetting something. So this is the Hermes Lindy in the 36 that I forgot that I also sold because it was a pain in the ass to use. The last kind of thing I forgot to cover was basically a slew of MZ Wallace bags that I purchased and then sold just because I got into the hype of MZ Wallace. I do like their stuff, but how many more totes do I need? That is nylon, right? So I did let go of like 1, 2, 3 of them. So, and then there are another 18 bags that I won't cover here because I did do a couple of vlog sales, so I'll make sure to link them down below. But there were Loewe, there was Louis Vuitton, there were Chloe, there are, you know, the horse, and then the Avon age bag, and then there's a couple of them that didn't sell yet, but there were an extra 18 of them. So I'll link those videos down below if you want to go check them out. I do go into a little bit more detail on why I decided to sell those or am trying to in the process of letting them go. Whew, that was a lot. Man, I got issues. The handbag addiction is real. The whole concept of me dumping these bags like ex-boyfriends still holds true, but I have an addiction. I'm sure you can concur that yes, we all do. And how long can we keep this cycle up? I don't know. As long as it brings me happiness, I'm gonna continue to do so. And plus, it does not help that I have a YouTube channel where it feeds into my purchasing and selling addiction, right? So enough of my blabbing here. I really hope you enjoyed the whole process and the evolution, so to speak, of my handbag journey. Again, let me know down in the comments below here, what was your handbag journey? What did it look like? Did it progress from, you know, brands like Kate Spade to Tory Burch to like high-end designer? Or are you still like, I love Coach, I'll never leave Coach? Let me know. I just want to hear what your thoughts are and let's have a discussion. So life is hard. I want to help you save time and money so that you can somehow adult easier and hopefully less than retail. I'll leave another video for you here and I'll see you next time.